Hey everybody, my name is Garin. Welcome to citizendiplomacy.net. I'm on a mission to talk to one person from every country in the world, and today I have the extreme pleasure of talking to Bas Rutten. He's originally from Holland, but he's an adopted American now. He's the godfather of MMA, just a general badass and awesome dude. Before we get into the interview, I want to explain really quick. Bas is out of town right now. He has a pinched nerve that has limited a lot of his mobility in his arm. So he is at a specialist getting looked at, and super busy this whole week. And he was gracious enough to give me some of his time this evening. And our connection was super bad. We couldn't hear each other. And I told him, you know what? I mean, you were gracious enough even to give me 10 minutes to try to get this thing to work. I don't want to take up your whole night with technical difficulties, so we can just call it good. Well, he went out of his way to figure out what the problem was. He ended up having to download Skype onto his phone, also that he could talk to us tonight. What a solid dude, that he went so far out of his way to talk to us. And then we ended up talking for quite a while. We talked about, MMA and Holland and his life and experiences and motivational advice and even about aliens. So this was a super fun conversation. I'm really proud and happy to be able to offer it to you guys here. So here's Bas Rutten from Holland, and I hope you guys enjoy.
Yeah, technology, right?
Yeah. I'm kind of like you with your arm. I get so mad at Skype. I'm like, you motherfucker, I'm trying to talk to somebody, you freeze up, and then you have to stop and think about, look, I'm talking to somebody on the other side of the world in real time, so...
Where are you from? You're in Portland, right?
Yeah, I'm in Portland.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm in Arizona right now.
Okay, not too far away.
No, not too far away. It's not.
Yeah, sometimes, I get to talk to people who are like, in Iran or in Pakistan or something. It's pretty amazing that we can do this.
Yeah, it's crazy. Last time I tried actually with Dubai, but also bad Skype connection. We could do voice, but not video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, so you've lived in the States for, a long time now. Are you still, obviously you're still Dutch, but what does Holland mean to you after being kind of a, international man for so long?
Holland will always have a special place in my heart, of course, but I'm a citizen, a U.S. citizen right now. Our youngest daughter was born here, so she became a citizen, and I said, you know what, we all three, my other daughter, I have another 23-year-old in Holland also, but my daughter's here. My oldest daughter and my wife were all Dutch, and I was Dutch. So I said, you know what? The little one is American. We're going to change. We're going to be all American. All for one for all.
Uh-huh.
And that's what we did, And I love this country here. I have the best time of my life. It takes Holland. It takes living in Holland to appreciate how good it is here. In Holland, everything is, well, first of all, the weather is really bad. And second of all, really high taxes. I mean, we talk over 60% taxes. Like cars, you will buy let's say a $120,000 car here, a German car, that would be in Holland 220,000 euros. Same car. They live next to Germany, but they tax everything so high, and then the gas and the insurance and the taxes on the car. I mean, we're talking about, if you have a nice car, you pay like 800 euros a month on tax.
Crazy.
I mean, these are things it's unheard of.
Hey, boss, there's like a noise that's really loud. I can almost hardly hear your voice because of it. I don't know.
I hear it too.
Okay, that's good.
Maybe. Let me turn this down.
Okay. It was just, for a second, it's hard to hear you.
I have my hand underneath my phone, and it ricochets the sound with your voice, and I think that...
Okay. So taxes, it must be hard. Somebody like you who's an entrepreneur and kind of living outside of the box, it'd be a hard place to make a living, huh? Oh, now I can't hear you at all.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so where's the microphone? Okay, so now I know where the microphone is.
Oh, okay.
When you fight in Japan, you only pay $12,000 taxes a year. It doesn't matter what kind of money you make. So if you make $3 million in Holland, you only have to pay $12,000 taxes. I think it's now 12,000. It was used to be 8,500. It's a loophole in a tax thing that they have there, and that always saved my butt, and it does all the fighters in Holland. So they don't have to pay these ridiculous taxes.
Cool, neat.
Yeah.
I remember hearing something about that in Japan about. I think maybe it was you talking about how most people in Japan have a very kind of like go with the flow. There's a certain kind of pattern you're expected to do: college, job, marriage, and stuff. And for people that kind of can unplug from that, like fighters, they kind of put those guys up on a pedestal.
It is like that. Everything is a herd. What they do is, I think the best time they have is what they told me, is high school, college. After that, they start working. Officially, I believe you get 2.5 weeks holiday a year, but you're considered very rude to take 2.5 years. So most of 2.5 weeks. So only they most of the time take like 4 or 5 days a year. Now after they work, and you can, when you go anywhere in Japan, after work around 5-6 o'clock, 2 hours later, there's drunk people all over the street. These are people who go to work, they come home, they eat, because nobody eats home anymore because everything is little tiny, so they eat all outside, start drinking like a maniac, and they just pass out on the street. I have really funny pictures of me, like putting a foot on a guy, not really, but hold it just above him, and then put my arms up, like I just knocked him out, We make pictures like that all the time. It was hilarious. But it's funny. It's funny that they do that. But on the other side, you go like, do you want to live like that? Because everybody, and it's like you said, as soon as you're a fighter or a musician or whatever you are, and you jump out of that, they love these people because that it takes a lot of cojones in that culture.
Yeah. What about in growing up in Holland? Was the life of a fighter, was that really different from the average person? Was your experience as growing up in Holland different than the average person's?
No. It's all about the same. In Holland, this Thai boxing is so big, so everybody Thai boxes. Every week there's fights everywhere. Mm-hmm. So it's, everybody's, people love it when you're fighting, and they will recognize you. But it's not like in America. Like when I go to Vegas, I will be stopped nonstop. And that's not like in Holland. They don't know me anymore there. I think they still don't realize, and this is still a really cool thing to say. First of all, I was the first UFC heavyweight champion. Mm-hmm. The first. Because that was just when they had the 2 weight classes. And second, I'm still the only European guy who ever got the UFC title. So, I'm waiting for the next guy to come up from Holland. I was hoping for Musashi, because I think he's really great, and hopefully he can do it.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of Dutch guys now, right? What's that guy? C.R. Bahaduzura?
Bahaduzara, yeah.
He knocked out Paulo Coelho and stood over him with his arms up in the air. That was so intense.
Yeah, but yeah, then he got side choked from the mount. I never got that, They call it a side mount because you do it from the side. If you do it from the mount, the only thing that the opponent has to do on the bottom is to put his foot close to his butt and whether turn right or left. That's up to him. There's 2 choices, too long to explain. But, if you find a really good wrestler, there's certain things that you have to do. But it's a very super easy reversal. I actually showed it on my Facebook because it happened twice in a row in the UFC. Yes, this is a white belt move. This is not even a blue or brown belt thing. Everybody knows it's a freaking side choke.
Yeah,
it's not a side choke. He just started training. So but he did it from the side. Because then they can flip you around. They didn't. They did it from the mount. Because it's pretty easy to escape. Or the opponent has to be extremely powerful. Then maybe he can pull it off.
One thing that I'm interested about bringing up that guy is, there's so many good Dutch fighters, but it's kind of funny, like they're all friends, they all train with each other, and there's people from all over the world. guys from Morocco and Afghanistan and Suriname and all of these places, but they all grow up and live in Holland. Is that just is it a super international kind of diverse country?
It is. It really is. And it's great. All the guys that train, that's all good. But of course, if there's bad people everywhere, man. But the code among the fighters is most of the time 95% or 98%, I would say, from all the fighters. Everybody likes each other. Like the whole black and white thing that they have in America, we absolutely don't have that in Holland.
Mm-hmm.
Like not. With us is I tell black jokes with black people in the room, and they will tell white jokes with us in the room. And everybody's laughing. We never had that. It was a real culture shock for me when I came here. Because I go like, whoa, I didn't know it was that bad.
Mm-hmm.
But that is, here you got to really watch out, because if I would talk to a black person like I do in Holland, I would be in trouble here.
Yeah.
When I found out, thankfully, I found out the first week, so I didn't make that problem. But I think a lot of guys from Holland, they come here and they, they're the same. They're exactly the same with us. Very weird.
That's one thing that I love about martial arts is, like I was saying, my whole point of my website is kind of just people connecting on a human level. And I'm not a fighter. I haven't had any fights, but I love martial arts. And I lived in a gym in Thailand for a couple months. And it was so cool how the same thing. We got people from all over the world. We got every English-speaking country, and we had a guy from India and Iran and any country you can think of. And you go in there and you put on the gloves and you duke it out. You land some shots on them. They rough you up a little bit. And you get a feeling for who they are as a person, and you go, look, you might turn on the TV and you hear all this crap about, we like this country, we hate this country. But when you're in there duking it out, it's just two people. And that's like a strong bond that you form that way, It
really is. It really is. Nowadays, that's a different thing, but that's the same kind of meaning as the extraterrestrials, right? The UFOs. I mean, they're now very serious. Now all the footage is going to come out from the British government of what they have seen, and it's like, I mean, the UFOs have dogfights with pilots, with everybody. It's all documented. It's real. And because apparently in Great Britain they were tried to shoot him out of the air. I go like, dude, these people come here from a different galaxy. They're gonna go, boom, you're gone. I mean, they can do with you whatever they want to do, but you don't shoot at these people. But one of the things that and I think it was a British guy said, he said it would change the world if we suddenly, all the wars we have in the world, if we will be attacked from above by aliens, the whole world will unite. And that's really how weird it is. And that's the same thing what you say, Everybody has the culture differences, but once in the gym, everybody is the same. And I think, God knows it's going to happen. I don't know. I still hope that I'm going to see one, though. I saw a UFO one time with my on my way back from Japan with my manager. We were freaked out. It went up in the air, just like straight up. And this was at least like 5 miles away, and it was this big. So it was huge. It was a huge thing. And is that a rocket? I said, nah, it's not a freaking rocket. And it stopped, and it did this. Boom. And I grabbed my camera, and I go, no, because it just rewinded. I just made a picture of my manager and I. I go, shit, and I look at it, and it goes, I mean, blistening fast. From zero, gone was it. I go, holy shit. So we went to the pilot, because at that time you still could do that. You simply knocked on the door. I said, dude, we saw that. And they said, yeah, there's a military base there. And that's it, man. There's no way that something can miles away shoot away that fast. I mean, yeah, can't even tell. I mean, that was a total Mach, so to say, from 0 to fucking 10 Mach or something.
So here's my 2 cents on that. I read a book about this guy who was in the CIA, and he goes through all the training and he passes. So they're like, okay, you're not going to get kicked out. You are a CIA agent now. So we're going to kind of like pull back the curtain and you get to see what goes on. So they take him through this museum and show him all of like this crazy James Bond gadgets and stuff. And they had a remote controlled dragonfly. It was a dragonfly, like this big, looked just like a real one, but they had a remote and they could fly it around, and they would land it like on a flower next to you, and it had a microphone. It could listen to your conversations. And it flew by beating its wings like this, which I didn't know that we could replicate that technology. And this guy, it blew his mind. He said, "This is so revolutionary. I had no idea that we could do things like this." And the guy goes, you want this to really blow your mind? Guess when that was made? It's from 1969. And the guy told him, anything that you know about technology-wise is already obsolete. It's 25 years old or more. So when I hear about UFOs, I do not discount the possibility of aliens, but I think it's probably just crazy shit that the government has that we can't even wrap our minds around. So I don't know. I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, the thing is, when you see that footage all the way up in deep space, and you see like a meteor coming down, and suddenly the meteor goes, zoop, it shoots back again. I go like, I don't know if that's from this planet, So, and it's what they say in the movie Contact, right? It would be an awful waste of space if nothing else is on Earth, and they have already. 13 Earths? They knew now, God knows how far, with the same temperature apparently, like around 76. I mean, that's cool stuff, man. I mean, I think in the next 20 years, I mean, listen, I had the first phones, cell phone, the one with the big battery.
We're just on hold. Yeah?
Yeah, somebody called me. With the big battery, walking on the street, being all cool. But the technology now, like my daughter was changed the cover of her iPhone, and I said, man, I want to see how that works, because I want to see what's inside. There's nothing inside. I mean, there's like three little stamps, square stamps, and then the rest is battery and screen.
Yeah.
And it's this thin. I mean, it is so thin, and that's the whole phone. We can do anything with this freaking thing. It's amazing. If you look inside an iPhone, you freak out.
Yeah.
There's nothing in there.
And, on the same lines, I tell my grandma that all the time. I go, Grandma, in your generation, she was born to an immigrant family, and she can tell me the first time that she ever saw a car, the first time she saw a radio, a TV, a tractor, all this stuff. And now we're living in a day and age where you and I can talk instantly through airwaves, and I tell her, when I'm your age, when I'm in my 70s or 80s, I'll tell my kids about the internet, and they'll go, what are you talking about?
Yeah, well, what about the albums? What about CD players? Everything is going to get out. It's insane. Everything is going smaller and faster. Yeah. I don't know if it's a good thing, though. I mean, you don't know any numbers anymore. You can't memorize any. I know now maybe 15 numbers. But I remember when I was a kid, like freaking 40 numbers in your head,
Yeah.
But you don't. Your phone takes care of everything. Many times I'm at the airport, and they say, "Where do you go, sir?" I say, "Oh, gee, 1 second." I have to look at my phone, because I know I'm flying with whatever, Southwest, whatever it is. And then, I say, oh, I'm going to Turkey. Oh, yeah, that's now. Okay, well, the next thing is Australia. And I was like, what the hell is going on? Yeah. And I totally depend on this thing. If it doesn't work, I don't wake up in the morning. Everything is done by a phone nowadays.
Yeah. Well, I heard somebody explain that our brains are designed to operate as easily as possible because there's so much information to remember and things to do. So, if you have to memorize it, if your brain says, I can only, I have to memorize this, it will. But if your brain can say, well, I can just go find it in a book or on the shelf or my phone or whatever, then I won't waste the energy to remember it because I know I can access it whenever I want. So now anything we need is right here. So our brain's like, don't need to do anything. Just let the phone take care of it.
It's a muscle, right? You have to work it out, they say. I still have to try that Lumosity.com, what you hear everywhere, the brain workout. I still have to do that one time. I want to check it out. But that's the problem nowadays. You don't have the time anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, especially you. You're a busy guy. And, speaking of which, I know I'm a big talker. I'm sure you are too, but I don't want to take up your whole evening. But I've got a few more questions for you.
Okay.
So, one thing that I talk about with people through my website is, we talk about kind of these big issues, like we're talking about between countries and between people and stuff. But I think that we need to get to a point where we address personal issues first. I mean, there's so many young people today that don't have like a reason, don't have a meaning in life. They don't have a purpose, and a lot of people are unemployed, and people are just kind of spinning their wheels. So I've come to this point where I realize that before we expect more out of our country or out of our world, we got to expect more out of ourselves,
Yep.
So I've talked to people, there's a lot of guys too, about what it means to be a man and kind of have a mission in life. So obviously, you're a warrior. What kind of advice would you have to young people today?
Man, it's you need to go, and that's what I'm doing with my daughters now also. And it's hard. Every parent is hard. Parenting is hard, man, because you have to say no. And I'm a real bad no sayer against my little girls. So I always let my wife do that. But so she's the bad guy, bad woman, person. But no, I'm telling them all the time. I say, my oldest here in America then, because like I said, I have a 23-year-old in Holland. But the one here in America, the oldest, she wants to be an actress.
Mm-hmm.
She's been acting for a long time, years now. It's many hours a week. But, she doesn't take the extra step, I always say. I say, why don't you start directing and writing and script and do that? Because eventually, if the choice is between you or somebody that looks like you, and that person knows all the other things, they're going to go with that person. Mm-hmm. And that's what you have to make sure of, that you have the whole package. And in fighting, I realized that fast as well. You can't be stupid on camera, and thankfully, it's what you see is what you get. Just go, and people, okay, he's an okay guy. But it helps also with your, you don't want to call it star power, but for the negotiations, it's much better to have a fighter who's really animatic and colorful than a person who is not. So I say to the guys, you try to find out, but it's so hard for me to say to my daughter what she has to do now, because I was 28 when I got this chance. If MMA wouldn't have come up, I have no clue what would have happened to me. I really don't know. I had no direction in life whatsoever. It was like a freaking blessing. It was so weird. It was my wife. My wife predicted everything, because I fought in Holland, and my last Thai boxing match I lost. And they said, he couldn't fight. I always said that. I knocked everybody out before. Whole bunch of match. And then I lost one fight because I was stupid. I took the fight when I was drunk, and then 2.5 weeks or 3 weeks before the fight, I found out that I have to fight. He called me up. He says, "Where do I send the poster to?" I said, "What poster?" "From the fight." I said, "What fight?" "Your fight." I said, my fight?" They said, "Yeah, we're fighting Frank Lopman." Frank Lopman? That was the guy who just came back out of prison, like a 48-0 record. I said, "When did I say that?" They said, "At New Year's, when you were working." I said, "Did I say that?" He said, "Yeah, man, we got the poster." I said, "Oh, damn. Okay, well, if I said it, I got to do it, right?" So, needless to say, that didn't go well. And everybody right away said, "See, I always told you he cannot fight." And I right away said, "Okay, forget about it. I'm not even going to compete in this country anymore, because, if this is what you get." So then I met my wife, and my wife suddenly looks at me weird, and she says, you're going to be a famous fighter in Japan." And I said, no. I told you, I'm not doing that bullshit anymore. She says, no, you said you're not going to fight in Holland, but you're going to Japan. And months later, I get a phone call, which I never picked up. My answering machine was broke, and for some reason I picked it up. It was almost like I was guided. And he said, "There's Chris Dolman in Holland, in Amsterdam, telling me that I had to go to Amsterdam, now in the car, come, because there's 2 Japanese guys looking for new fighters." And then I did a tryout, got in a scuffle with another guy, because he wanted to knock me out because they were filming, so I knocked him out with a high kick in the head. So he cut his whole eyebrow open, and I saw the Japanese people pointing at me, and they said, "We want him." And then I started 2 months later, I'm in Japan, I'm fighting in Japan. And then, a year into that, my wife looked at me again, and she says, "We're going to move to America," she said, "and you're going to be in the TV business." And I go, "Well, whatever." And then 3 years later, we decided, 4 years later, to move to America. So it's been quite a ride, and so that's why it's hard for me to tell my daughter to pick something that she has to focus on, because you don't know if you really want to do that. Some people change. Is she still going to love that if she's older? When I was a kid, I wanted to be a cook, and that went away suddenly. But then around 18, it totally came back, and I started working and went to cooking school and everything. And suddenly I liked it again. But then martial arts came, and yeah, then I got the priority with me.
That's so crazy. Do you ever
With kids, what you have to say to kids though is set a goal and simply do it. Read the book, The Alchemist. I will say this all the time to everybody. Last time I was watching a clip from oh my God, from Bad Boys. What's his name? Bad Boys. What you gonna do? Super actor, legend. Come on.
Yeah, Will Smith.
Will Smith. How can I? Sometimes I get this block. Unbelievable actor, unbelievable guy. I was watching a compilation of interviews that he did, and right in the middle, he said, "Oh, and read the book, The Alchemist." I started laughing. I look at my wife and said, "Come here, check this out." What he says. I've been saying this for freaking 8 years. It's really set goals. And it's an easy read. You read it in 4 hours. If you fly to New York, it's out, and it really will set your goal. I truly believe.
Yeah, it's a great book. My girlfriend and I went on our trip, and I sat in the car. I looked down into the book, and I didn't look up until the book was done. That thing was a great book.
Yeah, it's crazy, huh? It's so crazy. And you can read it every time. When you read it again, you find other things, other clues, other omens. It's cool how that works. The personal legend, I like that.
I haven't interviewed anybody from Brazil yet. Maybe I'll try to get a hold of that Paulo Coelho. He would be a fascinating guy to talk to.
That would be something, yeah. That thing is a phenomenon. I think by now they sold over 70 million copies.
Yeah.
It's like crazy.
Either him or Vanderlei. Vanderlei is high on my list. I'd love to talk to that guy too.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. Vanderlei is also really like, I had some students of mine who went to Vegas to train there. And they trained there for 3 days, and they would come back after a year, and he still remembers them by name.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he goes, "Hey, Jamie, hey, Ryan, how you doing?" I go, what the hell?
It's amazing. I think is amazing about that guy is that he's so ferocious. That guy he has a level of aggression that normal humans don't have.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, tell me what you think as a fighter, but it's like he does it out of love. He loves his fans so much, and he loves the sport, and all he can tap into such violence, but for a loving purpose. I don't know.
It's true. It's like he's almost born to do that. He's not a technical fighter, not at all, but he is a fighter. He's got stamina. He's got unbelievable, great stamina, great heart, great. He can take a shot. He's just very hard. Fight, you really have to box with a guy like that. Like, pop, 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 move to the side, pop, pop, pop. You cannot start slugging it out with him because, you're probably going to lose, especially when he gets a clinch with these freaking knees that he has.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Well, I'll just ask you one more question, boss. I ask everybody this. If you had the opportunity to give one message to everybody in the world, and anything you want. It could be something, on behalf of your country or you personally or a life lesson. But what one message would you want to share with the whole world?
You know what? I'm going to go, and everybody says the same thing. You know what I'm going to say? What do they all say? Every actor who suddenly got big, or every fighter who got big, it doesn't matter. Every person who got big, they always say, do not give up. At the moment you give up, you lose. And that's the book, The Alchemist, also. If you just keep on going, you will get it. I truly believe so. I truly believe everything will line up for you. It happens. And sometimes it's hard. I had a very hard first 11 years here in America because I didn't fight anymore. I fought like 4 fights or something when I was here. So I didn't have a steady income. So that meant that I had to, thankfully, the fight started, and I had to could do commentating. And then Pride started doing Bushido, and suddenly I was there every month, 12 times a year. Okay, so that money saved me, but it was still not enough money to come around here. So when I would come back, I had to travel right away to Ohio, and to New York, and to this, and doing seminars all over the place. I missed the first 9 Christmases and New Year's with the family. I missed the birth of my second daughter, my third daughter. I missed her birth. I missed all the father-daughter dances. I was planning everything to see. Let me do a father-daughter dance. So I missed out on a lot of stuff. And it was really that I looked at my wife and I said, what? I'm going to look for a normal job, man. I can't do this anymore. It drives me crazy. And she always laughed. She always said, boss, every time we're at 0, something comes up. Just trust it. And I said, I can't trust that because I got to bring the money. I have to bring the money in. Yeah. I don't want to. I want to play it safe because now I have a family. But she was right every time. Something boom would come up, and then when everything was low, and I just quit because I needed the money from Pride, but they messed me over there. So I did a really bad thing back, or an asshole thing back. But hey, they deserved it. I had no more money. Then suddenly, Inside MMA came. First the IFL, and then I started doing hosting, and then I got recognized, and then George Greenberg from Fox, I was on that show, and he gave me payback, the other show that I did on TV, and he's the head of Fuel now. So, everything started rolling, and suddenly I'm with Kenny and with Ron, we're working together, and they're talking, they say to me, boss, Mark Cuban is going to do this new channel, are you interested? They really want you. I really didn't believe it. At the moment they said yes, and I knew it was really Mark Cuban involved, I knew right away that this was going to be okay. It was first 13 episodes, I remember. And 13 became another 13, and another 13, another 13, then I said, okay, forget it. We're just going to keep on going. And now next week, we have the 300th episode. So we're 6 years doing this already. We got the highest ratings, and that TV show really, saved both me and the family, because now I could stay home. Now if somebody says, "Oh, can you do commentating there?" No, I'd rather stay home than make God knows what overseas. Because this is time I can't get back anymore.
Yeah.
Well, daughter here is now 17. God knows at 20 she's going to leave. It's fast. 3 years. I got some catching up to do.
Yeah.
So never give up. That's it.
Don't give up.
Don't give up. It really is a stupid saying, and every freaking person says it. And that's what I always listen to, because you watch TV. What is the message you want to give? They always say that. It's really weird, and I believe in that.
It's almost crazy to me that it took that long for you to be on TV, or that opportunity came. I remember, I can't remember what season it was. I think it was kind of early. Kenny introduced you, and he says, the potentate of pancreation. And you go, hey, 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 hey. And then you had something like, potentate is somebody with usually supreme power. It was so damn funny. It was just on the fly, but it was like, I don't know. It was just so funny, and it's like, you're good in the ring, but you're just as entertaining out of it.
You know what? I get compliments of Cartoon Network. Ask any person I ever worked with. It's very rare for me to do a second take. I'll nail the freaking thing, but I prepare. I'll make sure that I go in 100%, not 90%, 100%. So I know everything. I can dream it inside out. I can change it. I can do it the way they want it. You want to do it a different way? I can do that also. I just study. Put a lot of work and effort in there. And but now here comes the boom. I mean, the reviewers were freaking raving. I mean, even Variety was raving about me. I go, oh man, finally we're gonna get some movie. Hopefully, because that's why I came to the States for. Mm-hmm. Nothing happens. You go to a big agency, they don't have time for you. They when you're big, that's very important. So it's I did another movie that I got through a friend of mine, a baseball movie actually. I'm a baseball coach for a youth team, so it's kind of funny. But it's not as big as a part as the Boom, but it's a good part. And hopefully those kind of things are going to start sparking something. I like doing family movies, And when people want to see something violent, I say let's do it for real then. Let's do something like Drive with Gosling. That kind of feel. Yeah. I really like. But otherwise, just a freaking movie with kicking ass and chop chops. I'm not interested in that. If it's comedy action, that's already a different story. You know, it's all the same stuff. Nowadays they say, oh, we put like, I'm just going to throw out names now, right? Oh, here's Chuck Liddell, Mauricio Hua, GSP, and then we got Matt Hughes, who's going to be the coach of the thing, and they all put these guys in a film, and then they think, oh, it's going to be a hit. Yeah, they go to, it doesn't work like that, really. You know, and then, yeah, it's going to look stupid also, because they think that's the power they have. And for the rest, they don't have a great camera crew. The lighting is bad, you know, so it looks like a cheap movie right away from the get-go. It fails already, you know, and it's a shame. People, I think, you know, I hope that it's going to be better. That's what I'm trying to get. But for now, I don't really care. I'm very happy with my life and everything that comes. I'm not focusing on it anymore. You know, it's always when you focus on something, it's not really working. So I figured, you know what? Forget about it. We'll see what happens. And I'll focus on the O2 trainer right now. That lung training device that I had. I mean, we have medical companies now buying it because people with asthma don't use their inhaler anymore. You know, all of them. You know, so now I got to see if I can get enough money to scientifically prove that as well. And then hopefully it's going to be bigger. But right now, you read the reviews online. They're all real reviews. Nobody fakes. It's all real stuff. I mean, the craziest people from the SAS, Special Air Forces Service from Great Britain, they're raving about it. So It's a cool little device that I came up with when I was 14 years old. And then many years later, I saw Vanderlei Silva with the snorkel training. And that night, I got a phone call from like 6, 7 guys. Dude, the Routinizer, because that was the original name. The Routinizer, you got to make it, man. Somebody's going to come up with it. And I started doing a patent search, and what do you know? Nobody had it. Yeah, it was the weirdest thing.
Cool.
So that's the focus now to get it on the market. But it looks so simple that people don't want to buy it. They go like, that's why I always say, don't let the simplicity fool you, man. If you don't like it, bring it back. If you have an asthma patient and you tell me I have asthma, you can try it. If your asthma doesn't go away, I'll get you full refund.
Neat. Well, I'll put a link to it below so people can check it out.
Check it.
Cool. Well, it was a total pleasure, a lot of fun getting to talk to you tonight, boss. I really appreciate you giving me your time.
You're very welcome. You know, I don't know what's going to happen next week when I'm here, and I thought I had a little time now. I'm going to download it and see if we can still do it.
Cool. I'm glad you did. That was a lot of fun. I appreciate it very much.
You're very welcome.
Cool. Well, best of luck to you with everything.
Did you record this?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Okay. Can you put it online? Throw it to my email.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it'll take me a little while to like edit it and export it, but as soon as I'm done, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, do it, and I'll throw it on Facebook and everywhere.
Cool. That's awesome.
All right, brother.
Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Godspeed. Bye.
All right, party on.
Bye.
So that was a super fun conversation for me. I hope that it was exciting for you guys on your end of the computer getting to watch at home. You know, I told my sister one time, I don't care about celebrities. I am not interested in meeting anybody except Vanderlei Silva, Jesse Ventura, and Boss Rutan. I think those would be 3 badass guys to get to meet. So I just got to cross one off of my list. That was a lot of fun. Boss is just a general inspirational and motivational guy. And like I said before, that was so solid of him to give us an evening of his time. So thanks to Boss. I hope you guys enjoyed it at home, and I hope you'll tune in next time for more interviews. Thanks.